Hello, my friends, and welcome back to History English. I hope you are having a peaceful, wonderful day. Before we begin, get comfortable. Sit back or lie down. Take a slow breath in and out. You do not need to understand every word tonight. Just let the English flow like a quiet river. If you miss a word, that is okay. Let it go and keep listening. Tonight, I want to tell you a story. Imagine a small boy. He is 8 years old. He is smaller than all the other children. When he stands in a line, he is always the shortest. The other boys are taller, stronger, faster, it seems. People look at him and they smile kindly and they say, "He is sweet, but he is too small for this game." Can you imagine being told you are too small for your dream? Too little, too quiet, too weak. This boy had a ball at his feet almost every day. On the street, in the yard, in his small house. And when he ran with that ball, something strange happened. The bigger boys could not catch him. He moved like water between them. He was small, yes. But on the grass, he was something else. His name was Lionel Messi, and this is his story. If you enjoy learning English through calm stories like this, please subscribe to History English. It helps us keep these gentle stories coming, one quiet night at a time. It was the 1990s in a city called Rosario, in Argentina. Argentina is a country in South America, far to the south, where football is not just a game, it is a kind of love, almost a religion. Lionel was born in 1987 into a normal, working family. His father worked, his mother worked. There was not much money, but there was a ball, and there was a grandmother named Celia who loved to watch him play. She believed in him when he was very small. She took him to practices. She told him he was special. Lionel was shy. He did not speak much. He let his feet do the talking. From the age of 4 or 5, he played for a local club, and people began to notice this tiny boy who could not be stopped. But there was a problem, a quiet problem, a problem no one could see just by looking. Sometimes the hardest battles are the ones nobody can see. And this one was growing inside him. Or rather, it was stopping him from growing at all. When Lionel was about 10 or 11, his family learned something difficult. His body was not making enough of a special chemical that helps children grow. Doctors call it a growth hormone deficiency. Let me explain that simply. A hormone is a tiny messenger inside your body that tells it what to do. One of these messengers tells a child, grow, get taller, get stronger. Lionel's body did not make enough of this messenger. So he stayed small, while the other boys grew. There was a medicine that could help, but it was expensive, very expensive. Every single day, the boy needed an injection, a small needle, into his leg. Imagine that, a young boy every night giving himself this medicine, hoping to grow tall enough to chase his dream. His family tried to pay, the local club tried to help, but it was simply too much money, month after month, year after year. It seemed the dream might end before it began. How can a boy become a great player if he cannot even afford to grow? But sometimes, far away, someone is already waiting for you. You just do not know it yet. Far across the ocean, in Spain, there was one of the greatest football clubs in the world. People had whispered about the tiny Argentine boy with the magic feet, so the club invited him to come and show what he could do. In the year 2000, when Lionel was 13, he flew to a city called Barcelona. He was small, nervous, and quiet. He stepped onto the field for a trial, a test, to see if he was good enough, and in just a few minutes, the men watching went silent. They had never seen anything like him. The story says that a club director wanted to sign him immediately, right there. But there was no proper paper. And this is one of the most famous moments in football, he wrote the agreement on a paper napkin. A simple napkin from a table. On it, he promised that the club would sign the boy and, importantly, would pay for his medicine. A napkin is the small piece of paper you use to clean your hands when you eat. And on that small, ordinary thing, a boy's whole future was written. The club would help him grow. They would pay for the medicine. They believed in him. Can you imagine? The thing that almost ended his dream, the cost of growing, was now solved by a promise on a napkin. But there was still a price. To take this chance, Lionel had to leave everything: his city, his friends, his grandmother's country. He had to move to a new land where people spoke a different language and start his whole life again. A dream often asks you to leave home before it lets you arrive. So the family moved to Spain, and at first it was hard, very hard. Lionel was a teenager in a strange city. He missed Argentina. He missed his friends. He was so quiet that some of his new teammates thought he could not speak at all. For a while, his mother and his brothers went back home, and Lionel stayed with his father, far from much of his family, just to chase this dream. Think about that. A shy boy in a new country, alone with his football and his loneliness. Many people would have given up and gone home. But every day he trained. Every day the medicine helped him grow a little and a little more. And on the field, that quiet boy became loud, not with his voice, but with his play. He moved up through the young teams. Then, when he was just 17 in 2004, he played his first game for the main team. A boy who was once called too small was now playing beside grown men, the best in the world. And he was about to begin a run of football that the world had never seen before. The quiet ones are often the ones who change everything. For the next 17 years, Lionel Messi wore the colors of Barcelona, and in those years, he did not just play well. He rewrote what people thought was possible. He scored goals that did not seem real. He would run from far away, the ball glued to his feet, past one player, two players, 3, 4, and then, gently, place the ball in the net. He scored more goals for that club than anyone in its long history. Hundreds and hundreds of goals. He won the top prize in Spain many times. He won the greatest club prize in Europe, and he won a personal award called the Ballon d'Or, a golden ball given to the best player in the world that year. Most great players dream of winning it once. Lionel won it again and again. He has won it 8 times, more than any other player in history. Let me say that simply, in a sport played by hundreds of millions of people, on every continent, this one small boy was named the best in the world 8 separate times. And yet, there was one thing missing, one dream that kept slipping away. He had won everything with his club. But with his country, Argentina, the country he loved, the country of his grandmother, the biggest prize kept escaping him, the World Cup. He reached the final once and lost. He came so close, so many times. People began to wonder if it would ever happen for him. Sometimes the thing you want most is the thing that makes you wait the longest. Now, let me tell you something about the kind of man Lionel became. Because trophies are not the most beautiful part of this story. Do you remember the small, quiet city of Rosario where he was born? When Lionel was just a boy, about 9 years old, he met a little girl there. Her name was Antonella. She was the cousin of his best friend. They were children together, in the same town, before the world knew his name. Then he flew away to Spain, and the years passed. He grew famous. He grew rich. He could have chosen almost anyone in the world. And do you know who he chose? The girl from home, Antonella. The same girl from Rosario. They came back together as adults, and he stayed with her. In 2017, they married in their home city, and today they have 3 sons. Through all the fame, all the money, all the bright lights of the world, he stayed faithful to his first and only love. To be faithful means to stay true to someone and never betray them. In a world that offered him everything, he kept his heart in one place, with her, with his family. And it was the same on the field. When Lionel won so very much, he did not shout. He did not boast. He did not point at himself. He was quiet, humble. A humble person does not brag about how great they are. He let the game speak, and then he went home to his family. And when he lost, because he did lose, my friends, he lost finals. He missed important kicks. Whole countries blamed him. Some even said he was finished, that he should quit his national team forever. Can you imagine the weight of that? Millions of people disappointed in you all at once. But he did not run away. He did not stop. He dried his eyes, and he came back, and he tried again and again. Win without boasting. Lose without breaking. That is the heart of a true champion. But life had one more piece of pain for him first, and this one broke his heart. You remember the club in Barcelona, the club that found him, that paid for his medicine, that helped a small boy grow. Lionel loved that club. It had saved his life and his dream. He always said he wanted to stay there forever, and one day grow old and finish his career in those colors. He felt he owed them everything. But in the year 2021, something happened that he could not control. The club had money troubles, big ones, and the rules of Spanish football meant that no matter how much both sides wanted it, Barcelona simply could not keep him. It was not his choice. It was not their choice either. A force bigger than both of them pulled them apart. So the boy who had given that club 17 years of his life had to say goodbye. At the news conference, in front of the whole world, Lionel Messi stood up to speak, and he could not. He began to cry. This quiet, strong man who had lifted 100 trophies stood there with tears running down his face because he had to leave the home that had saved him. The whole room was silent. Many people watching cried too. He did not leave in anger. He did not blame anyone. He simply thanked them with a broken heart for everything they had given a small boy from Argentina. Sometimes love means letting go of the very thing that made you. In the year 2022, the World Cup was held in a country called Qatar. By now, Lionel was 35 years old. For a footballer, that is old. Many believed this was his last chance, his very last. And Argentina began to win. Game after game. The whole country stopped to watch. Grandmothers, children, taxi drivers, everyone. They watched their quiet captain carry the team forward. And then came the final. It is remembered as one of the greatest football matches ever played. Argentina led. Then the other team came back. The score went up and down, like a heart beating too fast. It went all the way to the very end, to penalty kicks. The cruelest, most nervous way to decide a game. And Argentina won. Lionel Messi lifted the World Cup trophy into the sky. The thing he had chased his entire life, the boy who was told he was too small, was now, at last, a world champion. In Argentina, millions of people poured into the streets. They cried, they sang, they hugged strangers. A whole nation cried with joy because of a small, quiet boy who never stopped believing. The dream that takes the longest is often the sweetest when it finally comes. You might think the story ends there, with the trophy, with the perfect ending. But Lionel kept going. In 2023, he made a surprising choice. He left Europe and moved to the United States, to a club called Inter Miami. Many great players, near the end, choose somewhere quiet. But wherever Lionel went, he kept winning. He helped his new club lift its first big trophy. He kept scoring. Even now, years later, he is still playing the game he loved as that small boy on the street. And here we are, in 2026. The world is watching another World Cup. And once again, people are asking the same question they have asked his whole life. Can he still do it? Whatever happens next, one thing is already certain. The boy who was told he was too small became, for millions of people, the greatest of all. Your journey too. Now, my friend, let me say something to you. Yes, to you, listening tonight. You are on a journey too. Maybe people have told you that you are not good enough, too old to start, too slow to learn, too small for your dream. Maybe tonight you are learning English, and sometimes it feels too hard, and the words run too fast. But remember the small boy. Remember that every night he gave himself his medicine and believed he would grow. Remember that he could not understand the new language at first either. He felt alone and far from home and unsure. Every word of English you understand tonight is a victory. Every day you come back and listen again, you grow, a little and a little more. You may feel small now, but you are growing. I promise you are. And remember the kind of man he became, too. Not just the goals. When he won, he stayed humble. When he lost, he did not break. He came back and tried again. He stayed faithful to the people he loved and loyal to those who once helped him. That is a quiet kind of greatness, and it is something every one of us can choose, no matter how good we are at football or English or anything at all. So do not stop. Keep listening, keep dreaming. Win without boasting, lose without breaking, and your napkin moment may be closer than you think. Thank you for spending this quiet time with me. If this story warmed your heart, please give it a like. It truly helps. Subscribe so you can join us for the next story. And leave a comment. Where are you watching from tonight? Write your country and the word dream in the comments. I love to read everyone. Sleep well or study well, my friends. Your English is growing, one word, one story, one quiet night at a time.